The first time it happened, it felt like vertigo. A man snapped at a barista over a wrong order, words sharp and careless. As the sentence left his mouth, something slammed into his chest, a sudden flush of shame, confusion, and a small, aching hurt that wasn't his. He staggered back, hand gripping the counter, breath stolen. The barista stared, startled, while the man whispered an apology he didn't fully understand yet. Within hours, the pattern spread. A woman complimented her friend's work and felt a warm bloom of pride and relief unfurl inside her own ribs. A manager dismissed an employee with cold efficiency and was flooded with panic, humiliation, and the hollow dread of being disposable. The emotions arrived instantly, precise and unfiltered, as vivid as if they had been born inside the body that received them. Humanity had lost emotional insulation. You no longer felt only what happened to you. You felt what you caused. At first, the world reeled. People thought they were sick, empathizing too hard, breaking under sudden mood swings, but it quickly became clear this was not sympathy or imagination. The emotions matched perfectly, mirroring tone, intensity, and duration. Hurt someone, and the hurt lived in you. Lift someone up, and their joy found a home in your chest. Panic came late, but when it arrived, it stayed. Cities grew quieter. Raised voices became rare, not because anger disappeared, but because it became unbearable to carry. An insult no longer ended at the target. It ricocheted back, embedding itself in the speaker. Road rage collapsed overnight. One honk too aggressive could leave you shaking with another driver's fear. Parents were hit hardest. A careless remark to a child landed like a knife turned inward. Dismissed excitement felt like extinguishing a light inside your own body. Many parents wept alone at night, carrying years of accumulated emotional debt they had never known they were incurring. Love became terrifyingly precise. The justice system faltered. Punishment lost its distance. A judge sentencing someone harshly felt the terror of the condemned. A cruel interrogation shattered the interrogator before it broke the suspect. Prison guards resigned in waves, unable to withstand the constant echo of despair. Justice, stripped of emotional armor, became a trembling thing. There were attempts to exploit the change. Some people sought out joymakers, performers, caregivers, teachers, hoping to bask in reflected happiness. Others tried to numb themselves, isolating to avoid emotional feedback entirely. A black market of emotional shields emerged, drugs and techniques promising detachment. None worked for long. You could not mute the consequences of proof. Relationships transformed. Love was no longer guessed at. You felt it when you offered it. Indifference burned like frost. Betrayal was catastrophic, not because of being discovered, but because the pain arrived instantly, raw and undeniable. Affairs ended not in secrecy, but in collapse. Children adapted fastest. They learned cause and effect on an emotional level adults never had. A shove brought immediate fear into their own stomach. Sharing brought warmth. Empathy stopped being taught. It became reflex. Workplaces softened or broke. A careless email could ruin your afternoon with anxiety you hadn't felt before sending it. Praise became addictive. Leadership shifted toward those who could carry others' stress without breaking, who could feel fear and still choose kindness. Many couldn't. The greatest change was internal. People began to pause before speaking, not out of politeness, but self-preservation. Words gained weight. Silence became a tool. Thoughtfulness stopped being a virtue and became survival. And yet, something beautiful emerged. Joy multiplied. A single kind act could ripple back, filling the giver with a warmth that lasted hours. Communities rediscovered generosity not as sacrifice, but as nourishment. Helping no longer drained, it replenished. There were still cruel people. There were still mistakes. But cruelty became exhausting, and kindness sustainable. One evening, an old woman sat on a park bench and fed birds crumbs from her pocket. Each flutter of ease, each flicker of trust returned to her as quiet contentment. She smiled, not because she was happy, but because happiness had learned how to travel both ways. Humanity had always affected one another. That had never been the secret. The secret was distance. Once it vanished, the world didn't become perfect. It became honest. And in that honesty, people finally understood a truth that had always been there, waiting to be felt. Every emotion you create lives on somewhere. Sometimes now, it lives in you.